Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to Silverstone for one last dance, or what I like to call the Lance Vance Dance. For the last time in season 31, we are going to be racing in Silverstone. And joining you from the commentary box, I am Salim Haddad, and alongside me, Speed Quinn, welcoming you for one final time. Good evening, Speed Quinn. How are you doing?
Yeah, good evening. I'm feeling really good. Of course, it is the last race of the season. There isn't anything to play for championship-wise, but these guys are just here to have a good race and just have some fun, really. So I'm looking forward to watching this qualifying session first of all, and then 26 laps of the race after it.
Well, while the title has been sealed, another victory in the bag is not going to hurt the drivers. I think the winner of the championship, Peter Volt, is not going to be racing tonight. Slinky, the silver medal man, is going to be racing, in addition to the majority of the drivers who were fighting for the second and the third place. So, what's your take on Silverstone? Is it going to rain during the race?
There's a very high possibility that it could rain. Of course, we all know that Great Britain doesn't have the best of weather most of the year. But it would be interesting to see if it does rain, because that could throw something into the mix here. Of course, in this qualifying session, it looks very, very clear, so that's a change. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what the weather's going to be like for the race.
But if you think about it at the same time, uh, the wet race has become a very annoying thing lately in Formula One. We have seen what happened to Suzuka yesterday, and
Yeah.
it feels that the wet tires are useless.
Yeah, they definitely need to change the extreme tires to be more, well, suited to extreme weather, because they're called the extreme tires for a reason.
Exactly.
If they're not suited to extreme weathers like we experienced in Suzuka yesterday, then there's no real use for them. We might as well just have soft, medium, hard, and inters.
And not to mention the giant tractor,
Oh, yeah.
which was on the road. That was like we have seen what happened to Jules Bianchi back in 2015, and we don't want to see that again, of course.
No, no, definitely don't want to see that again. I'm just gonna go on board with Robin, as he's, I believe, the first person to be setting a lap here. So just gonna stick on board with him, see how he takes cops. A downshift for him. Some people go for a downshift, some people go for a slight lift. Not too sure, it's just down to preference. But it looks like he's clean through Maggots, Beckett's, and now Chapel. Very wide on the exit there. Sector 2, 135. I can tell you that was faster than my Sector 2 split on Thursday, so you expect it from these guys in about middle of the pack of the PSGL tiers here. NS31, of course. In our PSGL Discord, we do have the calendar for next season already announced, as Robin puts in a 27-3, so a good bank of that. But as I was saying, the calendar for next season, season 32, is already in the Discord, and for current drivers in this season, season 31, sign-ups are open, and for anyone wanting to join, they will be open on the 13th, which I believe is a Thursday. Yeah, it is Thursday. So yeah, anyone who's here who wants to join PSGL, just go over to the PSGL Discord, complete the sign-up process in the channel called Sign Up Here, do the evaluation races, I believe at Belgium and Kota, submit the screenshots, and hopefully you'll be placed in a tier and you'll be racing and maybe even commentated by us next
Yeah,
season.
you will be lucky if we cover you. because our drivers they claim that we are the best commentators. I'm just saying what they say.
There might be a little bit of bias there from those guys, but yeah, it's great to hear the praise from them as someone who we haven't seen really at the top of qualifying time so far. ZQ goes over 3.5 tenths faster than Robin. So that's a nice surprise to see ZQ up there.
A 127.0 from ZQ. While V19, also known as Kamui, with a 128.1 in 6th place. Well, I thought the guy has been gone missing from the league because I haven't seen V19. However, he changed his PSN to Kamui, and his team changed his name as well to ASE. You know, this name-changing convention, it's a big deal because you're gonna have to change your PSN, your YouTube account, your Instagram account, your Twitter account. It's never ending. It's like your digital signature. So
yeah, it is never ending. Just looking at the times put in so far, as I say, like SJM puts in a 27.5, and I feel like without all the incidents that he's had this season, it could have been really, really good for himself and even his team Alfa Romeo, because Wooly he's just been up there constantly the whole season. As Wooly, and I believe he's fighting for P3 in the championship right now. And SJM, without those incidents, even won with his teammate earlier on in the season. He could have been up there.
Well, we have Luis Salguero in the chat. Hello, Luis. How are you doing? Supporting Gongax. Gongax now with a 128.4. 9th place at the moment. While Wooly going on his outlap.
Joshua's actually gone off. I'm not too sure if he was letting Provatok... Actually, no, they're both on an outlap. So, yeah, Joshua really made a mistake there. He is on his outlap, so it doesn't count for anything. But his tyres, if he did spin off or have a lock-up, then these soft tyres, you think, are going to be really overheating now.
Well, see, Joshua and Pels sound like new names to me. I haven't seen them before.
Yeah, Joshua's been here since the start of the season, and I believe Pels, I'm not too sure. I think he's been in a couple races, but he might have been a mid-season sign-up. I'm just on board with Wooly at the moment in second Alfa Romeo. So just going to see how he goes. Just going up 2 cops now. We'll see how he takes it, see if it differs from Robin. No, it's still a downshift. Yet to see anyone only lift off going through cops. But he gets through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel very, very cleanly. It is 3 temps, about 3 temps down on Robin's Sector 2 time. So it's looking to be up and about the P4, P5, maybe even P3 region. So I'm just going to see where he can slot himself in as he comes up to the line. It'll be P5 for him, a 127.7. So good lap from him, and the Alfa Romeos in P3 and P5 is looking good for them so far.
Well, I'm waiting to see what Chris Hallett has to show us. Chris Hallett has been solid this season. However, he lacked consistency. He's currently 11th with a 145.1. And Provatox is another name that was decent. And Provatox gets a 127.9, which puts him in 7th place.
Yeah, it was a good time for Provatox there. just on board with Chris Hallett as he goes 100 faster in Sector 1 on his previous lap time, as he's just making his way up to Cops now. See where he lost all of his time. It may have been through Max and Beckett's, not too sure. He's just making his way up to there now, takes a tight entry, hoping to carry a bit more speed through. Very, very clean through there. What Sector 2 time will it be?
Purple, Sector 2.
He seemed to have lost all of his time through Maggots and Beckett's on his last lap, as that was near enough 8 seconds faster than his previous lap through Sector 2. Just see how he does coming up to the line. Get the power down as early as you can. Through this right-hander, and he puts himself P7 at 127.735 from Chris Hallett.
Well, during his lap, Robin Weisling was able to improve his lap, and it's a 127.077. Slinky, Mr. Consistent, in third. So Josua is out of the session, has retired, and inactive Hekye has yet to complete his lap. You know, once the championship has been secured, you don't feel that everyone is racing seriously anymore. As ZQ got a 126.8, 2/10 faster than Robin Weisling. He's improving once again. Don't you agree? Speed?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm just... Yeah, I was just looking at SJM and it looks like he's invalidated his lap, so he may as well come into the pits and put a fresh set of softs on. Willie's just on his outlap. But it's slow start at the moment. He put in a 127.4 and put himself up into P4, which is good time from him. I'm just looking at ZQ, and he seemed to have made a mistake here, because he's near enough 3 seconds off his time. Actually, never mind, he put in a 26.8, so extended his gap even more. So he's going to be coming into the pits, getting new set of softs on to get back underway.
SJM carries on. Weird. I thought he was going to go to pits.
Maybe he had fueled up enough, or he made a mistake early enough to just drop back and try and save the fuel.
But he should have saved ERS or regenerated battery charge at least.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to help him a lot. So, ladies and gents, 4 minutes to go. If you want to start in first, you got to beat the 126.8 scored by ZQ. The rules are simple. And this is inactive Hekye, who has been fairly inactive this season, going on his lap. Well, do you think the race is going to be any good today? Because what I remember from the real life Formula 1, Silverstone this year is probably, even though the season has not ended yet, but Silverstone is and will be the best race of the season.
Yeah, you can definitely put in a case for it being the best race this season, and just still looking at inactive Hekye. Of course, he hasn't set a lap yet, so it's going to be fairly unknown to see where he slots himself by the pace that he's got. He could see himself in the top 5 here, I believe. It's 2 tenths faster than SJM, so maybe even top 3. Have to see where he puts himself. It's P7, actually, 127.6. So he puts himself in between the 2 Alfa Romeos. So a decent lap from Hekia.
Not bad. And now with 2 minutes to go, I think this could be the final results, unless some of the top 5 drivers or some of the out of the top 5 drivers are gonna pull a rabbit out of the hat and surprise us. But I doubt that's the case. I don't think anyone's gonna be trying that hard at the end of the season. They're probably saving their energy for season 32, which starts soon.
Yeah, it starts at the start of November, and I believe the first race is at Barcelona. So I'm just looking at Chris Hallett at the moment. I didn't quite catch his Sector 1 split, but someone like him should be aiming for, I'd say, top 5 in qualifying, as he's been fairly consistent all season. Of course, he is Constructors' Champion with Peter Vol. So, and I do believe they have scored a 1-2 from memory. Maybe wrong, they maybe scored more 1-2s than just a 1. But he is 1.5 tenths up on his time, which will see him into P7. See if he gets any more improvement, going through Stone and making his way up to Club and Vale. He gets to power down as early as he can. What time will it be? P6 for him. 100th behind Luna Jayhey. Let's see who the next person is to cross the line. It may be Slow Salt, although it does look like, yeah, he is going fairly slow.
We have Christopher Saucedo saying, bro, what? And we have V19 saying, eh vas-y, c'est bon, plus bad words in French. And he's saying the car doesn't turn at all. Maybe it's the setup or any new updates from the game.
Alright, just looking at Robin now as he's coming up to the last corner. Can he put himself on pole? No, he cannot. It is a 1/10 improvement, but it's not enough. Slinky is just coming up. Luno puts himself in P4, 1,000th behind Slinky. Let's see where Slinky can put himself. Can he challenge for pole position here? No, he cannot. It's a 127.0. They have Chris Hallett, but he's on his in-lap, I believe. SJM is just coming up to the line. Don't think it will be significant enough improvement. Puts himself P5, actually. So, P5. Slow Salt spins after invalidating his lap. Xenon, not too sure. I don't think he's on a fast lap. And Provatox, he improved his Sector 2 time. But then he spins at the last corner. And he's reversing. Gets it across the line. Xenon is coming into the pit lane. No, he isn't.
Well, there's Black Death in the chats asking us, what is this? This is Formula 1 car racing. Vroom vroom. Division 8 in PSGL. And we have Jim Hallett, Chris Hallett's brother, saying, come on, Chris, repeat last season's Silverstone victory.
Just waiting on Slow Salt now to retire.
So, ladies and gents, that's it for today's qualifying session. It's going to be ZQ starting from pole position. Second place goes to Robin Weasling. In third, Slinky. Luno J fourth, followed by SJM, Slow Salt, Chris Hallett, and Inactive Hekye. Could you please continue with the list?
Yep, so we have Wooly in P9, then Gongax in P10, rounding it off. Then we have Xenon in 11th, Azeribo in 12th, Provatox in 13th, Pels 1 in 14th, Kamui aka V19 in 15th, and Joshua in 16th and last place.
So don't go anywhere, ladies and gents, because soon we are going to be racing in Silverstone. And every week I tell you the same thing. Now you have enough time to run to the kitchen and grab yourselves your favorite snacks and drinks, because everything that you watch is more enjoyable with snacks and drinks. That's what doctors suggest. So, ladies and gents, 30 seconds are separating us from the start of the race, which is going to be the final race in Silverstone and the final race in the season 31 in PSGL. So this might be the last time that you listen to our voices, so let's make it a race to remember.
Yeah, it should be a very, very good race to watch, but we have the lights coming on now. ZQ on pole 5, red lights. And we are underway here. Seems to be a slow start for ZQ. But he does stay ahead of Robin, only a 10th. Separating the two. It seems that the two Red Bulls have maybe had to come in together, as those two are right at the back, and we have some slow cars in the back as well. We have everyone from 10th downwards fighting and fighting. Robin has gone round. Finds himself in last now. So not good for the man who started on the front row.
Of course not good. From first to last. Well, you would be considered as a champion if you do it reverse, from last to first. But no one is going to give you any cookies if you do it the other way around. Like what
You'd
Robin
be considered even more of a champion if you could do it in reverse. if you could do first to last and then last to first. Seeing multiple people actually starting on the hard tyres. We have ZQ, Luno, Chris Hallett, Kamui, Xenon, Hekye, Robin, and Joshua all starting on the hard tyres. Only one person starting on the softs, which is Provatox. So interesting strategies here from everyone. And the Slinky goes very, very wide, compromises his line, loses time to ZQ there. But Slinky, he is on the faster tyres, so maybe he's just got enough speed to maybe get past ZQ here. But at the moment, ZQ's staying ahead going into lap 2.
Well, of course, we're not going to have DRS within the first 3 laps of the race, but once we're going to get DRS, this might give Slinky the advantage to make him closer to ZQ, as Slinky is now using his DRS a little bit, trying to benefit from the slipstream of ZQ. Well, as I said, no DRS yet. It's going to be a bit difficult to pull an overtaking maneuver. We have the Provatox in the pits. He went to softs.
He's gone to another set of softs. So that's interesting to see.
Maybe he changed his front wing that we missed.
Yeah, possibly changed his front wing, but he is quite a way behind now. So here we've got a huge DRS train back to Gongax from first. 9 cars in total, so this will be interesting to see how the pack spreads out and if anyone can get caught out, because being a DRS train, especially at a track like here at Silverstone where there's only 2 DRS zones, it's going to be quite tough to get out of it.
Well, especially you've got the hangar straight, very long straight, as the DRS has just been enabled now. And I was on board with Xenon, who was very close to Kamui, also known as V19. And Xenon is being challenged by the Red Bull of Pels. I thought it was going to go around the outside line. However, the sister Alpha Tauri defended himself. DRS enabled. Xenon. It's not going to happen on this lap. Really? Oh, we have a yellow flag. Sector 1, green car, Joshua of the Aston Martin. And now this is Slinky on board with him now, 4/10 behind ZQ, heading into the hangar straight after turn 14. Well, it's not going to be that easy, is it?
No, it's not going to be easy, but just watching ZQ, and he's actually been putting up a really good defense against Slinky on the faster tyres, so if ZQ can get this sorted, and, well, if ZQ can just stay ahead of him, but Slinky nearly spins out there. It was very, very fortunate to keep it pointing the right way. But yeah, Slinky just has to stick with him.
And
but on the
Gondox.
other hand, there's AQ. He can just stay ahead and defend for as long as he can, because the medium tyres of Slinky will eventually drop off before ZQ's hards. So if ZQ can stay ahead whilst the medium tyres are Slinky, yeah, if he can stay ahead while the medium tyres of Slinky are dropping off, then he should be good to go. But you have to be careful of an undercut-overcut situation, because the overcut doesn't really work on this track unless you're covering off and pitting the next lap, as Joshua has retired in the pits after having multiple incidents of losing control of his car and spinning. So there's still this DRS train going all the way back to P9, which is now Izeri Bow.
Well, it's nice to see a close race. So we gotta thank the drivers for that. I'm currently on board with Wooly, who's only 3/10 behind Luno J. Hay. Lost some time here, enabling the DRS, enabling the ERS. He's getting very close to Luno, 3/10. It's not gonna be executed on this lap.
He did get very close there.
Got
very,
to
very
1/10.
close.
However, he lacked the finishing move.
It seems like SJM is actually struggling to keep up with the top two guys, as he's actually out of DRS range of Slinky, so this is great news for Slinky, because now he doesn't have to focus on the drivers behind. But I think he may... No, SGM did not get DRS there. So yeah, Slinky is putting the pressure on ZQ, because now he can just focus on the drivers ahead, or the driver ahead.
And
Now Zenon and Kamui battling it out Kamui goes for a switchback, goes for another, but he can't get past Zenon, of course, both on the hard tires, seemingly holding up Pels a little bit, who's on the mediums. So maybe Pel's just waiting for an opportunity to try and get them both. This smart play from Pel's, just hanging back a little bit and trying to bide his time and just wait for a mistake to happen and then pounce on it. But there's a little bit of a thing with that. If you wait too long, then the opportunity passes you. But he is pushing. Pel's is definitely pushing, and with Robin behind, you know, you just gotta push to even stay ahead of Robin.
Willie is currently 3/10 behind Luno J-Hay, who is also 3/10 behind SJM. And now they're going to be heading into Meggetts and Beckett's. Willie coming with an amazing speed. Now he's going to be receiving DRS. That was a decent exit from him. Is it going to be any beneficial as Luno J-Hay looking to go around the outside line? They're going to go side by side now. Luno J-Hay, I think he goes through. Luno J-Hay goes through. What a move from Luno J-Hay on turn 15 on Stowe. Steals the third place.
Very good overtake there. Very, very good overtake there from Luno. As Gongax actually makes his way past Slow Soul. Now, so Gongax making moves here, but now he's got a bit of a gap from himself to Chris Hallett, so have to do everything to try and close this gap, but this DRS train that's ahead of him is going to be very difficult to keep up with because he just doesn't have the speed to contend with those guys without having the DRS, because as you see, already near enough 2 temps pulled away just on that straight alone.
While ZQ is still leading the race, we are currently on the 7th lap, and Slinky is still chasing him 2/10 behind now. Maybe Slinky is trying to save tires. Nobody knows what he's thinking.
Yeah, Luno J-Hay has actually got himself onto the back of the front too, and he's on the hard tires, so we know that ZQ and Luno at the end of their stint are going to be on a much better tire. But it's just whether maybe Slinky can just is better on these hard tires than ZQ and Luno are on, well, mediums or softs.
Take a look at Kamui. Only 2/10 behind the Mercedes of Xenon. It was also 2/10 ahead of Pels. But now they're going to be heading into the first DRS zone. DRS and DRS enabled. Kamui, also known as V19, approaching the Alpha Tauri. Is it going to be through? It's not going to happen on this lap. Ay, ay, ay. If he only had a couple of inches more.
Yeah, it was very, very close between those two. Very, very close. But he's just got to take his time, not try to rush it, but just looking, the clouds have definitely come over. There's definitely more clouds than when we started this.
Uh-oh.
So could potentially still rain in this race, and I'm just looking at Kamui. Can he get a move done? No, he cannot. Going through Stowe, maybe he can get a run into Club and Vale, but it doesn't seem like it.
And Robin Weisling finds himself in 12th place and finds himself with a 3-second time penalty. Well, nice
Not
to see
looking
him.
great for him at the moment.
Nice to see him trying to catch back some places, but it's not enough. He was on the front row, and he went down. So Slinky is still less than a second behind ZQ. And now Luno Jehe is less than a second behind Slinky. Which means he might receive the RS. He's gonna receive the RS. Gongux is 2/10 behind Slow Salt with the DRS enabled. Is he gonna be doing anything? Nothing so far.
So 10 laps in at the moment, as AQ is really actually pushing the pace here. He's actually pulling away from Slinky, who's in turn pulling away from Luna Jayhay. There is a 2.2 second gap to Wooly. I didn't quite catch what happened there between SJM, Chris Hallett and Wooly, but it seems SJM has been overtaken by both Chris Hallett and Wooly there. So it's still looking good for the Alfa Romeo boys, but for SJM personally, who qualified, I believe, in the top 5, he's now outside the top 5 in P6, and he's got Slow Salt behind him, albeit it's only 7/10.
Robin Weisling is now 1/10 behind Kamui. Heading into Meggetts and Beckett's. Into the hangar straight. With the DRS enabled, Robin Weisling. Oh, he was trying to go for a very late lunge. However, Kamui closed the door on him. And we have to praise Robin for his clean driving and for deciding to stop his car instead of crashing with Kamui.
Oh, he goes for a move, contact,
Ooh.
and he spins, half spins there, and it allows Pels to go through. So Robin going for another audacious move, going down the inside. He was never going to get it slowed down enough and made contact with Kamui, and now finds himself over 2 seconds behind and another position behind Kamui.
Well, that's the last thing that you want if you're trying to overtake from the back.
Yeah, definitely the last thing you want to see. You're just trying to make moves forward, but all you can seemingly do is move backwards.
So half a second still separating Slinky with ZQ. I think Slinky's pit window must start in a few.
Yeah, he should be pitting within the next 2 or 3 laps now for the hard tyres, whereas ZQ and Luno can stay out there for, I'd say, until 17 or 18, or if they really want to push it, go to like 19 or 20, maybe 21, and go for the soft tyres to the end. But in my opinion, once Slinky pits, they have to either pit the next lap or pit immediately after, the immediate lap after Slinky, to try and cover off any undercut attempt by Slinky.
So it's still ZQ leading the race, Slinky second, Luno J Hay third, Chris in fourth, and Wooly in fifth. This is where most of the action is happening in the top 5. Robin Weisling still chasing Pels. Slow Salt was able to overtake SJM. Robin Weisling now looking to apply the pressure on the Red Bull of Pels. Robin Weisling is going to send it to the inside. Very good move by Robin Weisling. He overtakes the Red Bull.
SJM's in the pits.
On Stowe.
Yeah, SJM is the first person to pit. No doubt he's going to be going on to the hard tyres. Going to keep an eye on what Slow Salt does from this point, whether he decides to pit in this next lap. Maybe Wooly decides to pit in the next lap as well. But it's going to benefit SJM. He's onto the soft tyres. That's very interesting because I don't think they can actually go 13 laps.
This is why the drivers with the medium tires are starting to struggle a little bit. And you can see Slinky is now, for the first time, more than a second behind ZQ.
Yeah, ZQ is really making these hard tyres work for him. Of course, Slinky is medium tyres are starting to fall off slightly, so it isn't looking good at the moment as Luno shows the power of the hard tyres and get past Slinky. So now it's an Alpine 1-2 actually, as Slinky actually still oh, just saw some rain. Just saw the first drops of rain coming down. Second half of this race is going to be very, very interesting. I think SJM definitely made a wrong call by putting the softs on, because now, once it gets to winter's weather, this is going to be his race position. He's going to be in 14th place after being 7th behind Slow Salt. So it's a big, big mistake there from SJM, and I'm glad no one else pitted in for another set of dry tyres, because their race would have been ruined. And SJM gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. So now it's just a waiting game to pit in
the mediums.
Yeah, pit in for the intermediates. Of course, you're going to have half the race on the tyres, so it's going to be difficult to actually time in when you come in. And just looking at ZQ, it's just a slight observation, his helmet is really suiting these conditions now. ZQ's got a little fish helmet on, and I think ZQ has made a mistake, as well as Luno. Actually, sorry, as well as Wooly, because as you saw, DRS was just disabled. Sorry, the rain is really starting to come down. Slow Salt, Gongax as well. Multiple drivers choosing not to pit. I get, because maybe they want to have fresher intermediates. As you see from Wooly there, it's definitely time for intermediates. The front four have made a big mistake here by choosing to stay out. And it's so disheartening to see. It's so disheartening to see this. Slinky's gonna have a big advantage. And look, Chris Haller is actually past Luna Jhay now. Luna Jhay is very much struggling in these intermediate conditions. And ZQ, well, even the front four have made big mistakes here. because Slinky, well, he's going to be in first position. He's going to jump ZQ. I can tell you that for a fact, he's going to jump ZQ. Because Gongax and Slow Salt go battling into the pit lane, and Gongax actually gets ahead. Wooly's just in the pit lane now, but the man we need to be focusing on right now is Slinky. Is he going to get out ahead of ZQ? Just have to wait and see, and we'll see what happens. As ZQ is actually making his way down to the pit exit. It might be very, very close here. I think he's actually out ahead just about. But while Slinky's tyres are going to be more warmed up, they're going to have the right temperature in them for these tyres, and while he can use this to try and catch ZQ. Actually, it looks like he's losing time to ZQ, so not great for Slinky at the moment. Very, very, very bad for him. Yeah, what do you think of the situation, Salim? Alright, so just looking a bit further down the order, we have Robin, who's getting very close to Isaiah. We both finds himself in the top 10. Sector 3, that is Inactive Vecchia. And Inactive Vecchia is actually coming in. So just gotta keep an eye and see what tyres he goes for. Actually, he's left the session. He didn't even retire from the session, I believe. I was just looking at Robin. He found his way past Luna Jayhey, and now he's right on the back of Isaiah Bow. Luna Jayhey has had a very, very tough time here. Very, very tough time. As we're into the last 10 laps here, it's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of this race unfolds. Maybe the rain picks up and it goes to wets. Who knows? Who knows? Gongax there goes very, very wide, and it looks like Pels and Wooly are fighting now. As Pels goes wide on the exit of the loop. Still gets closer, does Wooly, and it looks like Isaiah Bow Robin is still fine. Robin tries to find his way around the outside, that he gets the move done. Now into P7 is Robin. So yellow flags, I believe that was for Wooly there, who's in P12. Now I'm just going to be hopping on board with Kamui, as he's found himself very close behind Luna J-Hace, who seems to be struggling in these conditions. Maybe he has a dry set, but you see there he's had a really big moment. Kamui maybe tries to look for a move, gets very close. Almost makes contact with Luno, takes a very tight entry which opens up second corner, and he's carrying so much more speed than Luno, but he just can't get the exit. Tighter line there for Kamui, gets himself close to Luno but just doesn't have the exit. Slinky now gets passed by Chris Hallett. It seems Slinky is really struggling in these conditions. Slinky makes it look like he's going into the pits, but he doesn't.
Well, it seems that race started to become a little bit quiet now.
Yeah, it's definitely being a bit more quiet here.
With 5 laps to go. Well, I'm happy for Slinky. He's gonna be getting the silver medal in this year's championship. He has shown a great sense of competition, great sense of fighting, and he has a good sense in competition as well, because he congratulated Peter Voll, who won the championship.
Yeah, good sportsmanship from
that's the
everyone
word.
in it too. Yeah, good sportsmanship
Thank
from
you.
everyone in this too. So, what do you think of this race? Do you think it will get wet enough for wet tyres, and do you think the guys will pit for wet tyres if it does come to the situation, or is it just a bit too late?
Personal opinion, I think it's too late for the wets. I don't think it's gonna rain enough for the wets. I think it's gonna end on the inters.
Yeah, so someone who's really dropped back is actually Slinky. He's in second now, after getting passed by Chris Hallett, and he's really struggling to keep up with Chris Hallett. So maybe he's got a dry setup, and it's really not working in these conditions.
We would like to say kudos to Robin Wisling, who was able to find himself back into 7th place. Now 7/10 behind Xenon. Well, it's not that easy if you're driving without assist on a wet track to keep the car together.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. Definitely not easy.
And Kamui, previously known as V19, found himself back in P10 in the points for Mercedes.
Yeah, Kamui's had quite a good race here. He's just stuck behind Luna Jhay. That's the problem. He is about half a second behind. But the man that has just stayed ahead, stayed in front for the whole of this race, ZQ, he's really shown his pace, albeit it's the last race of the season, but he's really shown what he could be capable of if he can keep the consistency throughout a whole season.
It was very, very, very impressive the way he kept Slinky behind him. And Kamui.
Yeah.
Kamui jumps a place, jumps into 9th, as Luna was trying to go for it on the turn 15. Kamui told him, no sir, you cannot go that way, it's closed. So 4 laps to go. ZQ leading the race, 3.6 seconds behind. Chris Hallett, the nearest threat.
Yeah, Chris is definitely closing up though. He's made up about 4 attempts on this lap. But it is lap 23 or 26 we have. After this, well, 4 laps to go, including this one. So it's not out of the question if Chris can get this win, because AQ, for all we know, he can make a mistake. It's never over until the lead drive, until you cross the line on the last lap. It's never over until you cross the line.
But so far, who do you think is the driver of the day? I would give it to Chris Hallett.
Yeah, Chris has done very well to be in P2 from his qualifying position, which was 7th. I would like to give a shout out to Gongax actually, qualifying 10th and finding himself in the top 4 is a very good race for him, as well as Xenon. There are 2 AlphaTauris qualifying 10th and 11th and finding themselves 4th and 6th. It's been a very good race for the team. Someone who maybe has disappointed slightly, I'd have to say Robin, because he did qualify 2nd, albeit he did have a little spin, maybe an incident with, I believe, ZQ. But as I give him the compliments, Gongax has gone and found himself a 3-second time penalty. So he's going to have to really push the pace on now in these last 3 laps to try and keep P4 away from Slow Salt. And Slow Salt needs to make up about 3.5 attempts to actually get the P4. So maybe there's a little bit of team dynamics going on where Gongax could ask Xenon to really push and pressure Slow Salt, and it looks like the rain is really picking up actually.
Oh, mistake by Xenon. Xenon goes off track, and Robin is gaining on him. Now it's down to half a second.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does look like the rain is picking up a lot.
But I don't think it's gonna be worth it to go to pit.
No, it's definitely not worth it. But the guys out here just need to be a bit more cautious and a bit more careful on these intermediate tires in these conditions. As the last time I checked, the time between Chris Hallett and ZQ, well, Chris Hallett has made up about a second from the last time we checked. He's now just over 2.5 seconds. SJM picks up another 3-second time penalty.
And now Robin is only 3/10 behind Xenon. He's approaching the AlphaTauri driver.
So yeah, just 2 more laps to go, including this one. It looks like unless there's an unfortunate penalty on the side of ZQ, looks like it's his race to win now. It's all in his hands. Just looking at the warnings on everyone, ZQ has to actually be very careful. He's on 2 warnings. Just looking at Chris Hallett, he hasn't got any warnings. So yeah, ZQ has to be very, very careful from this point not to get another warning, or else he's going to lose his victory here.
Well, there was a little battle between Kamui and Luno Jehei. Was nicely defended by Kamui, also known as V19. So still 2 laps to go. And now, ladies and gents, ZQ has started the last lap of the race. Might be not enough for Chris Hallett to catch up to him. He was able to catch up by a lot, but it's not going to be enough for a race win. While Robin Weisling still gaining on Xenon. Oh, a little bit of wheel spin here.
Yes. If there was maybe 1 or 2 more laps extra, we could have seen Chris Hallett get into, or get within a second of ZQ and really put the pressure on him. But unfortunately, this is the last lap, and it looks like ZQ, barring any mistakes here, has the victory all in his hands. He's got one hand on that winner's trophy. Can he just keep it on the track, keep
Robin
it clean?
Weisling. Robin Weisling going side by side with Xenon. Ay, Xenon on the inside line defending, taking his position back. And now, Robin Weisling, they're gonna go into
Oh no, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a deja vu moment.
Oh.
Heading into Megas and Beckett. Oh! Contact! Wow, that was so lucky. That was so tight.
Well, the man that we need to be focusing on at this moment is ZQ. As he comes round the final corner, he is the winner here at the last race of the season in PSGL at Silverstone. Chris Hallett in P2. Slinky goes for a little spin in the gravel in P3. Gongax rounds the final corner to get a P4 for AlphaTauri. Slow Salt P5 here. Xenon in P6. Rob in P7. Kamui P8. Isaiah Bo in P9. Luna J. Actually, Pels in P10. Luna J. in 11th. Wooly in 12th. SJM just making his way round cops at the moment.
And we still have inactive Hekye, who has been fairly inactive this race. And Provatox, who is a ghost.
Yeah, it started off so well for SJM, but then as soon as it got to, well, just before the inters, he had pit for soft tyres. And that proved to be a big mistake as he didn't recover from that position at all. Goes for a little spin, a little 360, just before, or just as he crosses the line. Finishes P13, and Latifekir in 14th, Ghosted and Provatox.
So, did we enjoy this race? Heck yeah.
Oh. Provatox finally crosses the line, and that is the race over.
Ah, thank God. Well, ladies and gents, while we are filling the air for the last minutes of the season 31 in Formula 8 in PSGL, we hope, we have tears in our eyes, and we hope to see you, hopefully, in season 32. We don't know where we're going to be. We don't know in which division we're going to be commentating. We don't know whether we're going to be together or not, even. But for one last time, this is the unofficial standings of the Silverstone Grand Prix. It's ZQ who wins in Silverstone. Second place goes to Chris Hallett. In third, Slinky, who kept the second place in the Drivers' Championship. Fourth place, Gongax, followed by Slow Salt. Xenon in sixth. Robin Weasling, seventh place. A bit disappointing from him. And Kamui in eighth place. Could you please continue? Speed, Quinn.
Yep, so we have, as Everbo in P9, we have Pels in P10, Luna J8 in 11th, Wooly in 12th, SJM in 13th, Inati Fekia in 14th, Provatox in 15th, and Joshua, the only person to not finish the race, in last place.
Well, at the end, ladies and gents, I hope this is not the end, and I hope to see you next season in season 32 in PSGL. If you are a driver and you want to join it, you join through the Twitter account. You're going to find the link to the Discord in the description, and through there it's going to be easy to join. And this is the last sentence that I'm going to be saying in season 31. I would like to thank you for your loyalty, and thank you for sticking by at every race, in the chats, anywhere. Just thank you. You guys are what makes this the best community in the world of sim racing. Now this is the end. Salim Haddad is going to be telling you goodbye. And my co-commentator, Mr. Speed Quinn, is going to be telling you goodbye as well.
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been amazing opportunity to commentate over PSGL F8 and just commentating in general. It's just been so much fun, and of course this season has had such good racing, some really good highs, some not so good lows. But just massive congratulations to Pete Vol for his utter dominance in this tier, it has to be said. It's ridiculous, and well, Chris Hallett as well for being a great teammate to Peter Vol, and big shout out to Jess Gamer and the league owner Big C for giving me this opportunity to commentate here in PSGL.
Well, I would like to add a big shout out to Slinky, who is the league admin and who is the holder of the silver medal in this league. He has been very good. Well, he missed out on the championship, but this keeps him a very good driver and a driver to keep your eyes on in higher leagues next season. Ladies and gents, this is goodbye. I wish you a good night. Bye bye.